So I started to look up the Oscar winners for last night and realized it may be easier to just use Bing instead. So I asked the question, and here's where it started off with. Wasn't as detailed enough, so I wanted to know all the winners from last night. And so it listed all the winners off: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Actress, Supporting Actress, Director, Screenplay, Original Screenplay, Animated Feature, Documentary, International Feature, etc. And then I wanted to know all of them again. So I was like, I want to know more winners for more categories. And so it listed off the rest of them. Okay. And I thought, well, maybe there's some more to be had. So I asked again and said, nope, sorry. These are all the categories for the Oscars. No more winners. So then I asked, said, okay, why didn't Maverick win for Best Special Effects? Because I was kind of irritated by it. And it gave quite a great conversation response here. So that's a good question. Top Gun Maverick was nominated for 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Sound, but it only won for Best Sound. Some critics have argued that it deserved to win Best Picture for its spectacular action scenes, nostalgic appeal, and cinematic experience. However, it seems that the Academy voters preferred Avatar: The Way of Water for Best Special Effects, which was the sequel to the highest-grossing film of all time, featured groundbreaking CGI and motion capture technology. What do you think? Do you agree with the Academy's decision, or do you think Top Gun Maverick should have won? I'm like, oh, that's interesting. It's asking for my feedback. So I said, I think Maverick should have won Best Special Effects. I see. Why do you think that? So this would be interesting if Bing is taking into consideration the responses here and like makes them into like a poll and answer in a poll scenario, because they can get a lot of feedback from users on what they think. I don't know if they have that capability, but it'd be very interesting to be able to real time get opinions of their actual users. The level of skill needed to capture the scenes is how I responded. The level of skill needed to capture the scenes in such realistic form, the cost to produce such lifelike effects further, and the amount of dedication it took on the part of the film crew, director, and producer is something that should be rewarded. Bing responded back with, that's a fair point. I can understand why you appreciate the special effects of Maverick. Okay, so it's affirmation. They were indeed impressive and realistic. Okay. However, some might argue that Avatar also had a high level of skill, cost, and dedication involved in creating its special effects, and that it pushed the boundaries of what is possible with CGI and motion capture. It's a matter of personal preference and taste, I suppose. So, affirms it, gives a counterpoint, and then tries not to be argumentative and just kind of ends the conversation a bit. Then it asks in a different vein, I guess, or a different, fork. Do you enjoy watching movies with special effects in general? I was like, all right, sure. Yes, though Avatar is more in the fantasy realm, I don't appreciate fantasy genre movies as much as action movies or even sci-fi movies. Historically, which category of movies tends to win the Oscar for best special effects? Can you provide me an answer by percentage of wins by movie genre over the past 20 years for the Oscar Special Effects Awards? It's a very specific question that I'm asking here. Right? I asked this general question here, but then I very specifically asked, like, who by category over the last 20 years. I used proper capitalization for it to find the proper nouns. I was expecting a very strong, definitive answer from this question, but instead, what I got was more of a general answer again. That's an interesting question. I don't have exactly an answer by percentage. You should. Like, these are statistical points that you can make. But I can tell you some of the winners of the Best Visual Effects Oscar by genre over the past 20 years. According to Wikipedia and IMDb, some of the winners are. Didn't want to ask for some of the winners. I asked for a percentage of wins by movie genre over the past 20 years for the Oscars Best Special Effects Award. It's a very specific question. Then it lists off all the different movies. Okay, based on this, it seems that you have fantasy. It seems that fantasy and science fiction movies tend to win more often than other genres. While interesting, it's not specific enough for me. This I would expect from a human, right? Maybe a human can rattle off a few of these. This would be a bit more than most humans could probably rattle off. But this answer at the bottom is typical to what I would expect to have from a human response. Which, if it's trying to be human, I can see that. I'm not expecting to have a human conversation. I'm expecting to have an AI conversation. I said, well, Blade Runner would be my favorite because it would be. I said, though Pirates of the Caribbean is a great movie series, you can't beat Johnny Depp's role as Captain Jack Sparrow. Now I'm at question 10 of 10. There are ways to get around this, which I won't get into, but bottom line is we hit the limit on the conversation. However, even though I hit the limit, it does still ask a closing question to me. Again, it gives affirmation. I agree, Blade Runner is a classic, and Pirates of the Caribbean is a lot of fun, so it did accurately portray both of those. Johnny Depp's performance as Captain Jack Sparrow is iconic and memorable. Okay. He was nominated for an Oscar for Best Actor for that role, but he didn't win. Do you know who won that year? Now, this would be really interesting, right? Now we're getting more into trivia, but unfortunately, I hit the limit on my conversation. And then asked me to hit the broom, reset things, and be done with the overall conversation. While enjoyable, it did not get to the core question that I was really looking for later in the conversation, although it did answer my original core question, which I guess is better than what Google did, considering I would have had to have researched each of the different results, find the one that actually truly answered it. Probably wouldn't have been as succinct and, I guess, detailed on that original question. And then I was able to carry on a conversation enough to find a secondary question, which unfortunately I was limited on receiving the right answer that I was really looking for. Meaning, I asked for a data response and it gave me a more conversational response. A lot of fun, though. A lot of fun. Love to see where this is going to go.